once again.
Alright guys, let's go over some Nazi tactics today. I want to talk about what happened to Sarah Sanders over the weekend, where she was kicked out of a restaurant. And this is the one case where to call this a Nazi tactic would be the right way to do this. This was a Nazi tactic, and I'm going to explain why. But before I get into that, I want to just go over how so many people have used Nazi, concentration camp, Hitler, and all that, like interchangeably all over the place for things that have nothing to do with Nazism. And it's really diluted the powerful effect of the word. And it really frustrates me, because then when people like me come on here and try to make videos to really educate people and sound the alarm bell on what is truly Nazism, it gets lost in this sea of calling everybody a Nazi. You know, so when the guy taught his dog to make a Nazi salute as a joke, he got reprehended. How do you say? He got attacked all over the place. Everybody attacked it. He even ended up in court. But in this case, we have a manager in a restaurant who acted like a Nazi, actually acted like a Nazi, invoking policies that were used by Nazi Germany government to restrain the rights of a population, the Jewish population specifically. This guy or this girl, whoever the manager is, used precisely those same tactics. And this is one of the cases where Nazi is the right word to use, and we need to call them out for using a Nazi tactic. So, I mean, people have been calling Trump a Nazi. People have been relating that the immigration detention centers for illegal immigrants, by the way, criminals who broke the law coming into the US, are interned in concentration camps. All of that is simply false. It's a lie. And I'm at the point where anybody who I hear say Donald Trump is a Nazi or Donald Trump is literally Hitler, it shows to me that that person truly does not understand anything about Nazism. They really don't know about Nazis. They really don't. They're just echoing. They're like the useful idiots in the population that are just spewing out this stuff without even understanding it. And in my eyes, these people lose complete credibility. And I just move along, because anything they say after that, I'm going to wonder if are they doing the same thing? They're talking about something they don't know anything about, but they're just echoing it. So anyways, in this day and age with the internet, it's pretty easy to figure out what Nazis are. But anyways, just to go over it really quickly, Nazis, the National Socialist German Workers' Party, NSDAP was the official big, the German big long acronym for it, but it's reduced down to National Socialism. But it's the same idea as Marxism. They want social programs for the citizens and all that. And what they're trying to do is, the difference between them and Marxism is that they really wanted to have a purebred German population. So the Nazis, although they followed the Marxist strategies, they had a huge eugenics component, which was aimed at making purebred German babies and eliminating anybody who was not purebred German baby. So when they were introducing multiple rules throughout the 30s to really make sure that these kinds of things were enforced. Now, if I get back to the Sarah Sanders case, let me say Sarah Sanders handled herself with absolute grace, in my opinion. She was asked to leave after she was seated with her family, and instead of causing a scene, she simply left. And that to me speaks volumes of grace. Somebody who was truly just there to go out with her family, not trying to cause a political uproar or anything. So anyways, so kudos to her on that. But the manager of the restaurant used the same tactics that the German government started to impose on Jewish people. So they would issue decrees. One of the decrees, 1935 decree, one of the measures was that Jewish people are no longer allowed to eat in restaurants. They can no longer go to parks, public swimming pools, restaurants. So that was one of the measures they took against the Jewish population in the 1930s, one of many measures taken against the Jewish people. And that was just the kind of like the start. They got far worse by the end, and we all know what happened. They actually ended up in concentration camps, which they were told they were workers' camps. They had been expropriated from their homes and they were shipped out, and they were told it was working camps, and it ended up being concentration camps where it was mass murders were carried out. But the Jewish population didn't know that. So anyways, so by this private citizen, owner of the restaurant or manager at this restaurant, asked her to leave, he actually carried out a Nazi tactic. This is true Nazism. And this manager showed their true colors, because I don't know if Sarah's a Jewish person, I don't know, but in this case she was targeted because either she worked for Donald Trump or she was of the wrong political party. She didn't think Democrat, she was tied to the Republicans, therefore she has to get out of that restaurant. Now, that being said, I do believe that the restaurant has a right to refuse service to anybody they want, because that is part of the freedom of being able to operate in the US. Now, capitalism is a beauty. Capitalism is an absolute gem. I cannot say enough good things about capitalism and free market. It is the most efficient and best financial system the world has ever come up with, and the fact that we have implemented it and still have it in Canada and US is phenomenal, and it is great. We have to protect free markets. But what happens in that is that if you're a jerk, or if you're just stupid enough to refuse service to people because of their wrong think, or because they're black, for example, I'm going to pick on a race and say, okay, let's say we say a restaurant owner is stupid enough to say, we're not serving black people in our restaurant. Okay, what's going to happen? Capitalism will come in and take care of you. It'll punish you right where it hurts you the most, in your pocketbook, because what's going to happen is whoever is kicked out for wrong think in this day and age, it'll spread. People will know that they were kicked out for either the color of their skin or wrong think, and other people who think like that won't want to go there. It's an absolute beauty of a system, because the only color it speaks at the end of the day is green, which is money. And you know, you get penalized if you're stupid enough to be racist, if you're stupid enough to kick people out because they don't think right, they don't think like you do. What I love about capitalism is it's an exchange. So it says, you know, I have a product, you have money, I need your product, you know, and the product maker needs the money, so we're going to exchange it. I'm going to give you the food, you're going to give me the money. That's how the restaurant works. If you follow that rule, the rule of you're a human being, the only prerequisite is that you need to have enough money to pay for what I'm offering you, and the restaurant has to equally, you know, serve up what they've promised to serve after they receive money. It's a mutually beneficial act that benefits both parties, both leave happy, and is completely, it doesn't care at all about any ideology or any race. It's an absolute beauty, because what's going to happen is, you know, Sarah's supporters, they're not going to go in that restaurant anymore, so they are likely to see a drop in their revenue, which could cause major problems for the restaurant owner. I mean, or the chain. I don't know. We don't have that restaurant up in Canada, so I don't know anything about that restaurant chain. But I do know that if you start behaving like that in a capitalistic environment, you're just going to lose out. Your customers are going to walk out and go somewhere else. I mean, I know for a fact I wouldn't want to eat there now, because I don't want to support somebody who's enforcing Nazi techniques. So I would choose not to go there if I was in the States. And I'm sure there's many people like that who are going to be mad about that and not going to want to go. So anyways, capitalism eradicates all these concepts like racism and all that, because you can't be racist and be successful in this kind of environment. So, and you can't, you know, you have to accept all different types of ideologies to be able to succeed. So anyways, I think that's all. I'm not sure if I have anything left that I could share on this one, you know, aside from this was Nazism. We have to call it out when it happens, and I do the same for all the ideologies I despise, like communism and Islam. Ideologies that I disagree with, that are evil or that will corrupt our society, I'm always going to call them out. So there you go. Today was my Nazi day. So I hope everybody enjoys the rest of the day, and I will see you guys in the next one.